The balls are the worst part of the film.
You're still listening. This is our final transmission.
Oh, we're here, Jamie. Welcome to the Final Transmission podcast. It's me, Sam Russo. It's Jamie Carruthers.
Hello.
It's one horror movie a week from the dawn of time until the end of time. And this week, my fine friends, we're phantasming.
We are.
Hi, Jamie. How are you?
I'm very well, thanks. How are you?
Couldn't be better if you paid me to be better.
I couldn't pay you to better, despite how secretly wealthy you believe that I am.
You are a secret millionaire. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind.
Do you know, like at Christmas when you see like people's parents' houses?
Yeah.
So my dad lives in a 2-up, 2-down in Burnley
Yeah.
terrace, and my mum lives in like a granny flat. There are no lavish staircases secretly hidden in my immediate family.
Are you trying to tell me that because there aren't lavish staircases that you're not secretly rich?
Yes. And I tell you what, you don't stay
Consider me.
you don't stay secretly rich by paying your mates to feel better.
Yeah, right. I think the truth will out, Jamie. The people will find out eventually.
I think
You need
you're secretly richer than me.
I think you want to live like common people.
I think my dad spent his entire life working in a factory, and your mum is a yoga instructor. Take from that what you will.
I think if you spent your whole life working anywhere, you've got secret millions.
No.
How old's Willie Carruthers?
He's 69 yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Happy birthday, Willie Carruthers. 4 weeks late or whenever this comes out.
Yeah, God, I hope he doesn't hear this.
I sincerely doubt he will.
Yeah, I think even if he knew it existed, he couldn't figure out how to make it be sounds.
I'm sometimes surprised when people tell me I'm always surprised when people tell me they've listened to the podcast, but the people themselves really surprise me. Like just getting texts from people every now and then that are like, oh, I really liked your point about blah, blah. And I'm like, A, I don't remember the point you're talking about. And B, why the fuck are you listening to the podcast? You crazy fool.
Yeah, if you are a crazy fool and you're listening to this, then why not listen to more of it or even watch it with your eyes over at Patreon, where you can see uncut and video versions of this here podcast and everyone that's been before it. Not everyone, that's not true, but
A few.
at the point where we started doing it, back till then.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Not the podcast,
yeah.
but the unedited versions of said podcasts. I could go back and release all of the unedited podcasts if I
Don't do
wanted to, but do you know what? I literally cannot be fucked.
That's the blackmail chip that Jamie has over me for the rest of my life. This entire
Yeah.
podcast, the cutting room floor, the confessions,
Yeah.
the secrets. Yikes.
So you already sort of teed us off that we're doing Phantasm, part of our
Yep.
films that don't suck, maybe month.
Yes.
I had seen Phantasm before and I remembered fucking hating it.
Zoinks.
But I know that people like it and I wanted to give it another chance because I'd only watched it one time.
Right. Do you remember when?
I think
Or under what circumstances?
in the circumstances of me being alone in a room watching a movie, maybe I was second screening with my laptop or something at the time because it was probably pre-phones.
God, you were second screening before phones.
Yeah.
You're fucking hardcore.
I feel like I was second screening with 2 TVs at one point,
Oh my God, dude.
playing like Micro Machines on the Mega Drive on one and watching Evil Dead 2 on the other.
Jesus. I just can't live like that, man. I can't. Second screens are forbidden.
Yeah, but do you not like that forbidden fruit, that little tingly
No, it makes me
frisson
super
of
sad.
danger of,
There's no danger involved.
doom scrolling TikTok while the film plays nearby?
I will not go on TikTok at all.
Yeah, that's fair.
Nor will I doom scroll if I can avoid it. No way. It's not for me. One screen is too many.
Maybe you shouldn't have a podcast about films.
You said it, bud. I mean, let's face it. I don't. You do. I don't know, man. I just think if you're going to watch a film, watch a fucking film. If you're going to fuck us around on TikTok, fuck us around on TikTok.
Oh, I completely agree. But I have been known to second screen in my time, especially if I'm finding a film boring.
What do you think is the most screens you've ever had on the simmer at once?
4.
Fucking 4.
Yeah.
What are the 4 screens?
Probably phone, iPad, laptop, and TV.
You shouldn't even own all those. Fucking hell.
That is. I own.
Is your dream like those old American TV shops with 20 TVs all playing different things? Is that your dream?
No.
Strapped into a chair, being sucked off by a machine, watching 20 TVs.
No, I feel like I've only got 2 eyes. I can only look at 4 things at once. Anyway, none of this is Phantasm. Should we get back to the movie at hand?
Yep, we haven't said fuck all about Phantasm yet.
Well, we've said that I
Have fun
watched it when I
editing.
was a kid and I hated it.
And then we ended up on Chalk Isis.
Yeah. Tell you what,
Yep.
when I was a kid, I loved Chalk Isis.
Yeah, me too.
What's your history and relationship with the movie Phantasm from 1979, directed by Don Coscarelli?
I've seen it. I saw it as a teen boy. I cannot, for the life of me, remember exactly if this is true or not, but I'm pretty sure I saw it at my auntie's house because every Halloween we'd have a great Halloween party at hers and we'd make a Halloween movie. And I remember hearing the music from Phantasm in one of the movies that we made together, because she always put famous horror movie music on the movies. And I didn't know what it was. I knew what all the other songs were, and I asked what it was. She said it was Phantasm, and I said, am I allowed to watch it? And she said, maybe. She did this thing where she'd like hold her hand up in front of the TV to cover certain things up. So I think I saw the auntie-censored version of Phantasm when I was maybe like 12 or 13.
Nice. Release the
so I
Sam's
obviously-
anti-cut. That's what I want to see.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So I obviously don't have like a particularly fresh memory of it. I don't think I've ever watched it since. Today was my first adult viewing,
Nice.
uncensored. And I watched the 4K Bad Robot restoration, which was kind of fun.
I watched my shitty DVD version.
Nice.
Weird that I had it on DVD when I didn't like it.
Yeah, I mean, you've got everything on DVD. It doesn't surprise me at all.
It's true. We've established what we've established so far, which is 2 very brief points that we both have previously seen Phantasm.
Yes.
You're not giving away whether you liked it or not, but I'm guessing because you're not giving it away that you kind of didn't hate it.
As a kid, I remember really, really enjoying it because I loved the music. The music had me 100%. Plus, we've got a child protagonist, which I really, really latched onto as a kid getting into horror.
Yeah.
It was a massive gateway.
It was a
for
good
me.
time for it.
Definitely, yeah. Really, really strong period between sort of the very late 70s and the early to mid 90s, really.
Yeah.
Exactly when we were, devouring this shit. So I remember feeling pretty connected to it. And I think my memories of enjoying movies as a kid are all about connection and feeling like I'm a part of the movie. So, yeah, a really accessible film for a kid who's too young to watch it, really. Just having lots of boobs and blood covered up by their auntie and feeling very confused.
I feel like I'm going to say something that we'll come back to later, but I feel like it's not a very accessible film for anybody.
No, I agree. Like, in terms of being on the more artsy side of late 70s horror movies, yet somehow having a pretty firm spot in I don't know, mainstream horror zeitgeist shit. It's not as accessible as like a fucking Friday movie or whatever, but it feels like it's up there among movies that people know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Despite being basically an art house movie.
Yeah. So, directed by Don Coscarelli, written by
Your boy.
Don Coscarelli, edited by Don Coscarelli, and the camera was operated by Don Coscarelli. This is
You guessed it.
one-man band auteur shit.
Am I right in thinking that you are a Coscarelli head?
Yeah. I love the Beastmaster, I love Bubba Hotep, I love John Dies at the End.
Bubba Hotep's his, script?
No, he directed that.
He directed it? Oh,
Yeah.
shit, I didn't know that. Nice.
Yeah, it's based on a Joe
Nice.
R. Lansdale short story.
Oh, of course it is. Yeah. So he's written, he was involved in every Phantasm, right? All the way up to...
Yeah, I have not seen
whatever
any
the-
of the sequels. He's listed
Right,
as a
okay.
writer on the 5th one, but I don't know if that's just because he created the characters or not.
Sure.
But I can't imagine that Phantasm 5 Ravager, with the V as the 5, is any good. I can't.
I
I refuse to believe it.
I won't refuse to believe it, but what I will say is that after watching one again, and obviously having no concept of there being a second one when I was a kid, because the second one comes out like 10 years later or something.
Yes, it's not too close, is it?
I would watch the second one.
Well, we'll get into that later.
I made notes on this movie, and I think I wrote about 10 words.
Oh, really? I made notes,
Yeah.
and I wrote 4 pages. That's before I went and did any research.
Brilliant. Perfect.
I didn't do loads of research on this because I didn't want to read too many people trying to figure out what it means.
Really?
Because if I can't figure out what it means, it doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean?
I think I just assumed it didn't mean anything.
I think it's artsy to the point where it has to mean something.
Really?
Yeah. I've got a big section where I just wrote down loads of questions. I'm going to read them all out to you later.
Okay. Yeah, I wasn't really left with many questions, so that's interesting.
Yeah.
You might be doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, but...
Well, we'll do a quick rundown of the cast, and then we'll do a synopsis, which I'm going to give to you.
Excuse me?
So start thinking about what the synopsis and the plot is now while I go through the cast. So we got A. Michael Baldwin as little baby Mike. We got Bill Thornbury as Big Brother Jody. We got Reggie Bannister as Reggie the mate. We've got Angus Scrim as the tall man, and we've got some women that all look identical as 3 apparently different characters.
It's not helpful that this is a tiny cast and 80% of them didn't do anything else ever.
Yeah. And the ones that did do other stuff basically just did Phantasm sequels.
Yeah. Or Phantasm adjacent properties
Yeah.
and appearances at Comic-Con, I would imagine.
Exactly that. All right, Sam, drop a snop. I'm ready. I'm girded.
Phantasm, the movie, from the mind of Don Coscarelli, from the studio that brought you Phantasm 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. The movie takes place, believe it or not, in Southern California.
Shocked.
Our protagonist is a young boy, Mike Pearson, who has some attachment issues. He likes spending a lot of time close to his older brother, Jody?
Yeah.
Who is a busy boy. When the film starts, he's at a funeral. Bam! Straight away, funeral. His friend died. Oh. His younger brother has followed him there and spied on him throughout the funeral, mourning from afar.
Okay, so we got through the first scene. Now, what?
Yes. I'm going as I remember it. They've recently been orphaned, and Jody is back in his hometown raising his brother. While this is all happening, ominous forces are at play in the town of wherever we are, and we become aware of an ominous tall man haunting the graves of the cemetery in the town where this film happens. And while this all happens, our protagonists are sucked into a phantasm.
Sure. Yeah, all right.
Ghost shit starts happening, dude. A guy picks up a coffin like it's nothing. What? And then all of a sudden we're thrust into a madcap, ghoulish adventure where the tall man is deploying an arsenal of strange weaponry against this kid and his brother for some reason. And fucking off we go. Off to the races.
Okay, so that was mildly spoilery, but that's okay.
Oh, fuck. Was it really?
Yeah.
Sorry. What? What did I spoil?
You said that the tall man deploys... We don't even know if he's the baddie until
come on. Have you
40
seen the
minutes
cover?
into the movie.
Have you seen every single cover is him throwing one of those fucking spiky balls at a kid, or like just him making a mean face? The best cover is the woman with her hands over her eyes and her eyes going through her hands. That's absolutely iconic.
You love a cover.
I love that cover. It fucking rips.
All right, well, why don't we take a break, Sam, and we can come back and spoil it some more.
Whoa, holy shit. I guess that's why they call it Phantom Power.
Oh, I'm back.
Oh, me too. Wow.
I tried to catch you by surprise there.
Absolutely not. Just in the break, though, I was looking at redscare.net and buying lots of records.
It's a good time to do so.
I would have thought so.
You could go definitely go to Red Scare and buy records. A great record label, quintessentially Midwestern, with its grit and its resilience and its sense of fun.
Yeah. So yeah, redscare.net. Go there, do stuff, be cool.
So Phantasm, back to the main event. Jamie, spoil it for us.
The tall man is the bad man.
And he's got balls, and he knows how to use them.
He does.
On kids.
The balls never make it to the kids.
The balls are the worst part of the film. I don't know why they decided that the balls was such a big deal. I don't know why the balls are on everything. The balls, I'm going to do it, are not good.
They are incongruous. And you know that I hate incongruous balls. But, I mean, technically they're cool. Like the concept of a shiny, spiky ball hitting you in the face and then drilling into your forehead. It's almost like Alien or Aliens stuff. Like the grabbing of the guy and then like the mouth in your mouth going into your head.
The mouth in your mouth. Yeah, I think I get it. I see why it's...
And
I can't say I see why it's cool. I think it sucks. I love the gouts of blood in the first ball kill.
Yeah.
I think that's superb.
There's only one ball kill. There are only two
there's only one ball kill,
kills in this movie.
There's only 2 balls.
In fact, there are other kills that we see that aren't real.
There's a lot of deaths.
Yeah. I think there are 4, and one of them doesn't happen because we see Reggie get stabbed by the tall man in disguise as the lady in lavender.
Is that what she's credited as?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And when at the end he's just alive and is completely fine.
Right.
And poor Jodie, he doesn't have the same treatment.
This movie is obviously pretty psychedelic, I guess would be the word.
Yeah, I think so. I would say so. I
find it incredibly dreamlike.
The first 40 minutes are the best part of the movie for me. But until anything like real horror happens, if the script and the performances were better, this could easily be like mid-catalog David Lynch.
Oh yeah, it's got some serious Lynchian vibes.
And like I think Angus Scrimm looks like a Lynch character, like
Scrimmage.
Those like weird incongruous characters that you find in Lynch, like the cowboy guy and the Housani and all that stuff. Like those characters that sit outside the movie but are in the movie. But you know, the bum woman from Mulholland Drive and stuff. Mm-hmm. Like it's almost a shame that like Angus Scrimm just found himself in tall man hell after this.
Probably found himself in tall man quite rich.
Like sure. But not culturally rich. I'm going to say that.
I mean, the film is not without its faults. I mean, to call it like an art house horror masterpiece would be a lot.
But there are some really, really incredible, interesting directorial and camera move choices that, particularly in the first 40 minutes, and they sort of go away after the horror stuff starts happening because those are set pieces and you can't be too fucking clever in a set piece when you've got a prosthetic that only works from a certain angle and only looks a certain way if you film it from a certain angle. Like, so you can't make interesting choices, or you can, but maybe if you've got the money to build something that costs more.
Yeah, your choices narrow significantly at that point, right?
And so,
I mean, I really, really enjoyed it. I kind of feel the same about it as I did when I was a kid, to be honest. I think not much has changed in that regard. Yes. I think maybe I enjoyed the much stranger elements towards the end a lot more. When you're a kid, you want sort of more linear sense and answers to questions, right? And I was in a place watching this where I was just quite happy to embrace the visuals and enjoy the dreamlike changes in scenery and even in like character behavior and stuff. I think there's a lot going on at the end of this film that's very interesting.
Once we get to the end, we sort of stop having those like gore set pieces, and that makes it again easier to make some of those interesting choices again. We just sort of end up in like a different movie in the middle, like a similarly not linear movie, but like a much more boring one. I think a much more sort of standard horror film for that middle act.
Yeah, there's a weird section in the movie that feels like a completely different film to me, and that's when the little gribble fly turns up.
Yeah.
That is a bad very bad effect for the most part. It's cool when it comes out of the garbage disposal. I think that's fun.
Yeah, well, like for the most part, it's not an effect. It's them holding onto a jumper and waving it around as if it's doing something.
But the actual creature, I think, is awful.
Yeah,
like laugh out loud bad.
I think it's fine, but like it's not. It's a tangible effect, and therefore I have to respect it. But like it's not good, and it's not used particularly interestingly. And then they just do the same thing twice because they flap around with it for a bit and then get it down to the garbage disposal, and then it comes out of the garbage disposal and they flap around with it a bit more. Like in the behind the scenes footage, they shot some stuff, or the guy who was shooting the behind the scenes footage shot some stuff with the Super 8 camera that he was using, where Jodie and Mike were holding the camera as if it was the thing and like doing all that. And it was just much cooler, much more dynamic. Why wouldn't you have the bug POV?
Well, that's what I thought they were doing was, an Evil Dead section. Here's a gribbly fly. It looks like garbage, but it's funny, maybe. And maybe it's got an edge of menace woven in with the humor. But it just didn't work for me. I'm completely with you. I respect the practical effects, but it feels like a practical effect from a different movie.
Yeah.
And it just sort of is an unanswered question that doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why a gribble fly?
Yeah.
Why not, like, I don't know, anything else, basically, but...
Like it's a finger. Why does a finger turn into that for one? And why is
that? I actually quite liked the metamorphosis element of it, and that for me is so dreamlike when you feel like you've got a tangible hold of something in a dream and it becomes something completely different. I love that reflected in movies because obviously our dreams are so ephemeral and strange, and when you get to watch it visualized even crudely in 1979 with horror dripping over every single scene, I just find it really rewarding.
Yeah. I think that opening scene, which is people banging in a graveyard, is gorgeous. It's beautiful.
Yeah. I had a Jamie's bonerometer meter running from the second that scene happened, and sadly I only clocked one boner, and it was that scene.
I mean, there was a couple of boners.
Oh, okay.
Cinematic movie fan boners rather than like actual tentpoles.
Tentpole. Well, I liked everything in the first 10 minutes. It was such quick, tight filmmaking.
Yeah, but it's like beautiful.
Atmospheric.
The camera choices are so insane. The Foley work is really good, and like the really subtle like stings when the lady in lavender turns into the tall man in that opening scene. There's like the faintest hint of like a little triangle ding in the corner, like just sort of. Like way down in the mix, but like just enough so you can percept it, and it's like announces that transformation, even though it's a really like cheap in camera, stop the camera, take her out, put him in effect. But like the timing of it was slightly off, and it just sort of felt really beautiful and really interesting, and like the way that those scenes are framed with like the bulk of the erotic stuff happening behind the grave, and you just see their legs sort of like wiggling around, and then all that other stuff happens, and the shots are like super voyeuristic and like kind of slimy, but in a kind of sexy way. Like I thought it was gorgeous. I mean, obviously, I haven't said this yet, but I liked this much more on this watch than I did on my previous watch. There is 3/4 of a good movie in this 85-minute runtime.
Yeah. Do you think you would appreciate it more because you weren't doing an Etch-a-Sketch with your feet and playing a Game Boy Color and trying to paint a watercolor with your belly button?
Yeah, one of those things with the rings in it and the water, and you had to like push the buttons to try and get the rings over the thing.
Yeah, could be, bud.
I had a Golden Axe handheld that I would play.
Fuck yeah, dude. I think I spotted an error in the graveyard sex scene. So she's laying on top of him, and her knees are not bent, and then in the next shot, she's upright on top of him. So she's like bending her back at a right angle from her lumbar vertebrae directly upwards, which is a great image to think of because she's a freaky ghost lady. And then it cuts back and it's straight legs, and it cuts back and she's upright. I found that funny.
Yeah. What would you call that position?
Freaky ghost lady.
Brokeback cowgirl. There you go.
Brokeback graveyard.
Yeah. Brokeback mounting.
Oh, we got there in the end. Well played. What a team. Yeah. Brokeback mounting.
Sam, can you do me a favor? Can you open the search engine of your choice?
Sure.
Right now.
Got it open.
Can you search Reed Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman?
Yeah, what do you need?
Look at an image.
Yeah.
Who is that?
It's your main boy.
It's Reggie, right?
It is Reggie, yeah.
So I don't know if this is a complete coincidence, but Reed Fleming, World's Toughest Milkman came out in 1978.
Dude, say no more. It's your boy Reggie. I think Reggie is an absolute hooting holler of a good time of a character.
Yeah. Can we...
Reggie Bannister.
I did an unnecessarily insane amount of research into Reggie Bannister because I just found him so interesting.
I knew you'd be obsessed with this guy. I just knew it.
So everywhere I read, like, talked about him being a musician, and like, yeah, we see him play the guitar in the movie, but like,
Shredding.
that's a terrible song.
It's a great song, and he's fucking ripping. Shows up ready to rip.
Shows up in his
Come
Reed
on.
Fleming World's Toughest Milkman outfit.
Just sits down and rips.
Just pulls an acoustic guitar out of literally nowhere. And
Hot as love, baby. Hot as love.
yeah, so I wanted to figure out what his history was in music. And so I looked around for a while. I ended up on Discogs, and I could only find bands that he was in sort of fairly recently or after this. One of them was called Reggie B and the Jizz Wailin' Yah Doggies.
What actually has the word jizz in there?
Yeah, it does.
Wow. Sold. How much on Discogs?
There are none for sale, I don't think. But that came out in 1996. That
Oh, Love That's Gone is on the Reggie B and the Jizz Wailin' Yah Doggies album.
So I found that. I found a couple of other bands that he was in later, basically. But I was like, obviously he was a musician at this point. And in the commentary of like the behind the scenes footage on my DVD, he talks about like being a musician before he was into acting. So I was like, okay, there's got to be something here. Well, I dug into the past more, and I came across this band called the Greenwood County Singers, who are like a folk group in the 60s with Van Dyke Parks, who is a very famous guy.
Yeah.
Who Carson Parks wrote something insane, like a really Nancy Sinatra, Something Stupid. He wrote that. Carson Parks, who's also in the Greenwood County Singers.
Right.
I mean, they're the sort of terrible shit, happy, non-political 9-piece folk band that Christopher Guest is spoofing in A Mighty Wind with the Main Street Singers.
Sure.
And it's not good. But so he's in this folk band, right, until 1965. Guess what happens in 1965, Sam?
Vietnam?
Yeah, he gets drafted and goes to Vietnam.
Interesting.
So he's on the base, like ahead of like being shipped out, and he gets called into like his sergeant's office, and he thinks, "Oh shit, I'm in big trouble here."
Yeah.
And he goes into his sergeant's office, and they're like, "I hear you play bass. You're in a band." And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Cool, I'm a guitarist. This guy's a drummer. We're gonna start a band." So like he becomes like best mates with his sergeant.
Sick.
But then they all get shipped out to fucking fight the Viet Cong or whatever.
Yeah.
And they all go their separate ways. He, gets kind of burned with Agent Orange and kind of fucked up and comes home. And
Christ.
tries to start some more bands, but it doesn't really work out. So he's like, do you know what? I'll go be an actor. I'm going to act in 50 shitty horror movies and maybe one good one.
How great. What a story.
Yeah.
Come on, lad. I mean, I just like his vibe. You can tell he's been around. He's very confident.
I love that he's
not a bad actor at all.
No, and he's 34 and completely fucking stark bollock bald. And
but rocking that skullet.
Yeah, I love it. I think he just looks really cool. And like,
He's great.
I have a shaved head and I wear a beanie all the time because like I am not confident enough to just be like, look at my fucking noggin, baby.
Look at my dome.
Check out my dome, tuts. Like, I'm not doing that.
You have to. Repeat. Have to walk up to a woman and say, check out my dome, tuts. Just to get over it, dude. You gotta.
Yeah, maybe one day.
Oh, wingman you. I'll be snapping my fingers with a pack of cigarettes up my sleeve behind you. Yeah, you heard him. Check out his dome. The best thing about the skullet is the reveal. You know, if a guy's wearing a beanie or a hat, if it's a cowboy hat, it's next fucking level. But as soon as that thing comes off and it's like, pow, skullet.
Yeah.
It's such a huge reveal.
I love that he just rocks up. Like his first scene is like Jodie's playing the guitar, and then like he just rocks up and just starts playing guitar with him. And you're like, who the fuck is this guy? Where did he come from? Why is he friends with a 50-year-old guy? Why is he a fucking angry milkman?
That's not his first scene. He's at the funeral.
Oh, yeah, he is at the funeral. Fair dues.
Yeah, we know him by then, but that's what's even greater because you don't expect him to do that.
Yeah.
He seems like a bit of a straight-laced ice cream man. And then he just fucking rips.
Is this your second favorite movie where the best mate character is an ice cream man?
It's an ice cream man. Yes, actually it is. Second only to Killer Clowns from Outer Space, which is still fantastic, and which between me and you, I have now bought on Blu-ray. So
Nice. The one film of all of the films that we've watched that you'll actually watch again.
no, I actually love, and I'm really looking forward to watching Green Room again.
Okay, good. Watch it on tour.
And I'm struggling to think of another one. I was going to reel off a list there. There are others. Come on.
Here's a question for you, Sam.
Go on.
Do you think it's it's purposeful that Mike and the tall man kind of look similar?
Didn't see that myself.
I don't know if it's just this is what hair looked like on a man in 1979 or 1978 when they filmed it or whatever. But like their hairstyles are very similar. And I wrote that down before they have their opening scene together where they sort of mimic each other's movements. And I was like, so is this meant to be like a dark reflection of Mike? And then obviously it sort of moves on from there and goes to different places. But that was my first thought.
Maybe there's something in there that maybe a commentary on a kid's perception of adulthood. Do you know what I mean? Like when I was a kid, I definitely thought there was goodies and baddies.
Yeah.
Like the average American adult, should we say. You know, my perception of morality was completely shallow, surface level understanding of good and bad. And I think I perceived bad people as all kind of having the same look and vibe, and all good people as having the same look and vibe. So maybe there's like an adolescent threshold crossing here where goodies look a bit like baddies and baddies look a bit like goodies. Don't know.
Yeah. I know what you mean. But yeah,
No, you don't.
No, I do. I know what you mean.
Okay.
And I think, like, I just don't know what they were getting at in the movie, whether that's because like they don't really come back to it, but they don't really finish any of their thoughts, do they?
I think I can't believe I'm defending Phantasm this hard already. I just don't think that fucking matters, and I don't think it's a case of like, for some reason, the movie gives me this atmosphere of surety. It doesn't give me half-finished idea vibes. It makes me think this is happening for a reason, to no end. Like it's deliberately slightly formless in a way that Menace sometimes can be. One of my favorite scenes in this movie is Reggie in the foreground opening the ice cream truck and all the billowing steam coming out. And what is that? It can't be steam coming out of an ice cream truck.
It'll be like the cold air, yeah.
Yeah.
Cold air meaning the hot summer's night air. Like,
yeah, and Tall Man's in the background. He does this really creepy arm walk where his arms are going backwards and forwards in that pendulum motion. And he stops and looks, and it's almost like he's breathing it in, and he's eye contact, looking away. And all of that, again, felt very dreamy, but it felt like a standalone horror scene, very Kingian, I think. And I thought to myself, this is purely for creep value. It's an aesthetic scene. I don't think it's saying anything about Reggie, and then Reggie obviously gets fucking killed. So maybe it is a bit of foreshadowing. So some of the stuff that feels a bit disjointed, I think, does kind of weave itself back together a little bit later on, but not in a particularly linear or satisfying way sometimes.
Yeah, Reggie doesn't get killed then, though. He gets stabbed later by the lady in lavender turning into the tall man, and then he's alive again at the end anyway.
Yeah. It just felt like, because he's behind Reggie and Reggie doesn't know he's there, Reggie's going about his normal everyday business with this massive figure of menace behind him looming over him. I thought, Reggie's next.
Okay, so can I just rattle through this list of questions that I wrote down, right?
Oh, we're doing question time. All right.
So
I've got one question for you.
If you've got answers, pipe up at any time, but I'm just going to read through all of the questions that I wrote.
Okay.
So they're turning dead people into slaves, ? And they have to shrink them. But they're also killing people. Why not just take the alive people? Obviously, it's no accident that Mike's parents and Jodie's best friend are both recently deceased, meaning that obviously grief is a big part of what's happening here. What's that got to do with slavery? I don't get this metaphor at all.
What's grief got to do with slavery?
What's grief got to do with turning people into 3/4 sized goblins and sending them to be slaves in a different dimension? Like, what's that got to do with anything?
Carry on.
I said, the end just keeps on trucking, huh? 85 minutes and it starts to feel like an eternity. Is the subtext, sometimes death is kind of a hot broad. I read some takes about the tall man representing death, and the climax is about confronting death. But they don't defeat death, they just bury it. So is the message suppress your scary thoughts? Try to think about it, bro.
Yeah.
Or is it just a grief nightmare? Or does it just want us to think that? Oh, so they're just going to leave? Why is this 34-year-old dude just taking this little kid away? Like, that's not allowed.
Good questions.
Yeah. So that was my list of questions. Do you have answers for any of those?
Yeah, sort of. I think the shrinking people is, Jamie, it's obvious. It's for storage reasons, okay? You only have so much room.
Well, no, they said...
Of course you're shrinking.
They said that it's something to do with the heat and the gravity in the other dimension.
The gravity on their dimension, yeah. But they're not there yet, are they?
No, but surely you have to shrink them before they get there, otherwise they will die again, despite the fact they're already dead. But then why are they doing it to dead people that they can somehow make alive again, but then they're also killing people? Like, you could just take all of the dead people and no one would ever know you'd even been there.
Maybe you have to use specific dead people.
It's fucking nonsense, Sam. It's
very fresh dead people.
It's meaningless. It's gibberish.
Gibberish. No, I like it. I think it works for me.
I like it. It just doesn't make any sense. And like, sometimes stuff not making sense is completely fine.
Yeah. I wrote down one word with an exclamation mark when the little hooded guy showed up. I just wrote Jawas.
Yeah.
Because they're Jawas. They're fun. They're not scary. They're very silly, but they're quite cool. And again, there's this amorphous threat of like a night creature of some kind.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a panther, sometimes it's Jawas, sometimes it's just like a flowy sheet coming at you. And that is pure. I don't know about you. I do to a certain extent, but I have a lot of nightmares, it turns out. Much more than the average adult person. And a lot of times in my dreams, if there is an amorphous threat, it does exactly that. It changes forms. It becomes lots of different things. So this was hitting so many chords for me on a, creative dream level.
Yeah.
The same with the Gribbles and the Griblets and the Gribbly Boys. I don't necessarily understand exactly what the plotting is around that dimension rift stuff, but I have to assume that Phantasm 2 explains all of it.
I'm sure it gets into lots of detail that is equally fucking meaningless. But I'm much more interested in you don't make a dream-like Lynchian kind of suburban nightmare, despite the fact, and this is separate, this is a complaint that I have, an actual complaint about the movie. All the stuff about it not making sense, like, I don't understand it, and that's fine. Like, I still enjoyed it. The thing that actively annoyed me is that there is no sense of place, and that's something that I've come to realize means quite a lot to me. Like, we spend our time with, like,
you realize that.
Yeah, we spend our time with like these three characters basically, and at one house, and then at a crypt. And frankly, the crypt looks amazing. I can't believe that they constructed it out of plywood. Like all of those,
insane,
all
right?
of those like interior
The marble
crypt shots
is not marble.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's insane. It's
Yeah.
amazing. Fair dues.
yeah. It's really
everybody.
impressive. Yeah.
They also have one shot at a bar.
That's my only question for you, if you would like it.
Go on, lay it on me, Daddy-O.
If you live in this town,
Yeah.
are you hanging out at Dune's Cantina?
Yeah.
Obviously you
Obviously
are.
I
It's
am.
got a fucking great horse on the balcony. It looks cool as shit.
Yeah.
So what are you drinking at the Dunes Cantina? Do you know what? I will bet every single thing I own in the entire world, I know the answer.
It would be a Miller High Life and a well whiskey.
Yes, exactly. Shot in a beer.
Yeah.
What a night you're having at Dunes Cantina. First of all, Jamie, you're picking up girls who want to make it in a graveyard.
Yeah. I'm wondering.
So it's
I'm
ticked
wondering
all
up
of
to
your
them and
boxes
saying,
already.
saying, check out the dome, Tuts. And they're taking me
Check out this dome, toots. Want to see some big balls?
taking me straight to the graveyard when, they'll have sex with me and then turn into a big old man and knock me over the head or something.
It's your dream night.
Yeah.
I think the sense of place is disappointing here because it has the scope and all of the tools readily available to have to give the viewer a really strong idea of where they are, and it doesn't deliver that.
I feel like,
but it's focusing on other things in its defense.
I feel like it's really noticeable here that there is no sense of place. I feel like this movie feels like much more than like many other movies, like fucking, let's say, Ghoulies, which is a little gribbly movie that's kind of weird, or like Troll. Like they don't necessarily feel like they need to have a sense of place, whereas it feels like it's really missing from this.
It does, because it feels very Kingian, and Stephen King is a master of putting you in a place and making it feel almost too real, too detailed, too descriptive.
Yeah.
And there's so many set piece shots in this where you want an expanded view. You want a bit of a bird's eye view. You want to know what this town's all about. It's too easy to say it's because it's so dreamlike that you don't get any sense of place. You're in an ephemeral space. You're in a hinterland. You're in a void. You're in you're in this. You're in that. But it does deserve more, I think. If a movie like Killer Clowns can make Crescent Cove memorable for the rest of your life after you see it, then Phantasm has a duty to give you a stronger, more of a feeling of terra firma than it does.
I think it being dreamlike
Completely
isn't
agree.
an excuse, because I think like your dreams take place in a place, and that might be a liminal space that changes from like room to room, but you still feel rooted in a sense of place, even though that place is dream.
Yeah, even afterlife movies or very alternate perception of reality movies. I'm thinking like The Seventh Seal. You know exactly where you are the whole way through. It's got such a strong, unarticulated sense of place.
Like even like Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind. Like you don't.
Oh God, yeah.
You don't need to establish where they are in all of those like different rooms when they're sort of traveling from like memory to memory. Like it's so established by the space that they inhabit. Like this movie just needed more of that. Obviously, it was shot very cheaply by basically one guy by himself and some mates in a graveyard.
Yeah.
So like, fair dues. But that's the main thing that I really think is missing here, is that it feels like it deserves more in terms of that sense of place.
It's neglected from the writing as much as it is from the budgetary limitations of shooting. Anyone making a movie of this scale can afford an establishing shot of a town and some very brief banter about.
You also, you don't even need to show the town. You can just have two characters talking about Old Man Jenkins and his junk shop, or like, think about, obviously I'm going back to Stephen King here, but I watched Stand By Me again recently, and like, we barely see any of that town, but like, all of the, chopper, sick balls stuff, and like the way that people talk about other people's parents and stuff like that. Yeah. That builds the town in your brain. So you don't even need to know what it looks like or who everybody else is. The way that two characters talk about a third character, like that builds a town in your brain.
Yeah. They talk like locals. They mention the actual places. They name the asylum. They name the school. They name everything. And you do get some you get some great semi-panoramic shots of the town, and you do get some shots of the boys in context of the place that they live. But it's superfluous at that point to the writing, the stuff that's happening right in front of you between the characters. Definitely, there is a tiny element of that in Phantasm when Reggie's saying like his other buddy from school is saying like what you doing in this shithole kind of thing. So you get the feeling it's a down at heel town. Yeah. When Jody's riding his bike down the hill, we get a sort of sense of small town isolation. The cemetery being the center point of the movie kind of gives you the impression it's the center point of the town, which kind of tells you everything you need to know.
Yeah.
But I feel like I wanted more character to it.
Yeah, you could explore that in an interesting way without having to spend any money. You can do that purely through dialogue. But like also, I think the writing of this movie is basically fine for the movie, but it's not good.
There's some honking bad dialogue, but I expect that, and I buy the ticket for exactly that.
An
I think
egregious,
it's just
but an egregious bad bit of like writing is in that car
Yeah.
chase bit when Jodie shouts, "There's nobody driving that, mother!" And like,
yeah.
A, that's a terrible line, and B, in all of the wide shots, you can see the driver. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You could totally see a driver. He says "mother" twice, and both times it's like, "Ooh, it was bad enough the first time." That's so. I haven't even like thought about using "mother" as a word to stand in for like any other noun in a really long time. Interesting choice.
yeah,
One of my favorite things that again happens twice in the movie is when Michael Baldwin or whatever the fuck is looking through his binoculars. He takes him down and he mouths "what the fuck." Like, it looked amazing, and then they did it again. I was like, "Fuck yeah, do it twice." Great fun.
yeah. It's like, I guess it's his signature move, right?
Yeah, exactly. What the fuck? I love a "what the fuck." Top shelf "what the fucking."
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think maybe an idea of the place just wasn't near the top of the list of things they were trying to communicate in this movie, and I get that. And I also love movies with no sense of place because they are deliberately omitting that.
Yeah, but I don't feel like they're deliberately omitting it here. I think they're just.
No.
I think maybe they just didn't consider it. Maybe it's explored in the sequels and whatever.
Yeah.
But like the brief bit of stuff that you said around like the cemetery and the mausoleum being like the centerpiece of the town or the center of the town, and how what that says about the town is so much more interesting than just showing as a graveyard. So like,
Yeah, for sure.
have everybody be either factory workers or gravediggers or like something, like
That's another key point, I think, is that we don't have a context for our characters because we don't have a broader cast. So without a sense of place and an idea as to whether we're dealing with complete weirdos or totally normal people for the context of the movie, we're a bit adrift when it comes to like, where to hang our hats. I can't tell if these guys are well thought of in their community, and that's important to me in a narrative-driven movie with characters I'm supposed to care about. I can't tell really how badly their parents' death has affected them. I can't tell what significance is of the friendship between Reggie and Jodie, because there's no broader context.
Yeah.
They don't really. They have one antagonist, no real enemies, and that's not particularly good film writing, if we're honest, is it?
No, and also part and parcel to that is that we have no idea of what the timeline is. Like,
No,
we don't know if the
absolutely.
tall man has been doing this for decades, and it's only because Mike and Jodie's parents and friends died that they sort of stumble onto it. But like,
It doesn't take much to communicate that, does it?
No.
One like "I am an ancient evil" type line.
Yeah,
and then
or,
you've got it, nailed it down.
You guys are fucking this up for me. I just got here yesterday. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
That's
know.
exactly the line you should have delivered. Yeah. So I think we'll tell you what's really positive is that we're able to look at this as an actual film
Yeah.
and criticize it for not doing things that great films do.
Yeah.
So what that's telling me is it's scoring very highly on the strokeability scale.
Yeah.
And we're in a place where we're actually dealing with a real movie for once, which is fucking magnificent feeling.
The experience that I had watching this last night was light years away from my memory of it. I mean, it does truck along at the end. It does get a bit boring. It does start to feel like, come on, guys, can we wrap this fucker up?
I really enjoyed the ending. It wasn't dragging for me, which is interesting because normally it's the other way around with us, right?
The ending does a thing that you should hate, but maybe you're along for the ride. But there's a lot of running from place to place, screaming.
Not as much as turns me off,
Yeah.
and because I'm in this movie, I'm off balance in a good way because I don't know if they're going to fall through a fucking hole in the ground into another universe. I don't know if the tall man's going to show up as a completely different incarnation next. Are we going to get balls flying around the woods? It's getting to a place where it's nicely unpredictable for me.
Yeah.
And The Trap is a good summary of that unpredictable chaos. That it's a good way to draw that all together, I think.
I think like there were just enough lulls in the action for me to be like, do we need to lull here? Like
true.
what are we lulling for in the climax of the movie? Like, why do we need to?
Yeah.
Do we need to take this
Yeah.
beat?
What? It's like failed edging.
Yeah.
I like.
So-
there's a ball. Go on. Sorry.
There you go on. Mine can wait.
There's a ball shot. The one ball death, where you see the pretty cool effect. Despite hating the balls, you get a pretty cool effect of it's almost like a fisheye lens in front of the guy's face while it's drilling into his head. And it's a great, like, Francis Bourgeois, massive eye, long head, kind of creepy fisheye reflection that was quite fun. But apart from that, the balls can do one.
I think they feel like an afterthought to me. They don't feel like they're part of the movie. And like,
that's crazy because I feel like it's the other way around. I feel like he came up with the balls and then made a movie that had nothing to do with them.
Well, that's the same though, right? Like,
yeah, true, yeah.
Like the balls are just like the balls. And so there was only ever meant to be the one ball scene, and they were like, "Well,
yeah,
these are cool, so let's bring it back later." And they bring it back later, and it just explodes because it gets shot with a shotgun.
It's quite satisfying, weirdly, but yeah,
it is. But like, I just think that they are completely like not related to the movie.
Well, too often the balls are an afterthought.
Yeah,
let's be honest.
You're happy with that one?
Sorry, but yes.
I knew it. I could sense it. I could feel. Do you know, like sometimes you say something so funny, and you sort of feel quite smug as you're saying it because you're like, oh, "This is funny."
You get a little look on your face. I know that from seeing you do it. I don't think I've ever said anything funny enough to be really happy with it.
Well, you finally got your first one.
You could ask the question, why aren't the balls coming thick and fast? I honestly am not trying to do this. Like, why in this movie aren't there balls just fucking flying all over the place? They got one good, two good sideways ball shots, if you will. But why isn't it just a wall of balls flying at you the whole time? Do you know what I mean? They can't be that. You could have a couple of balls in the foreground that are proper steel, the real balls. And in the background, you just have blurred fucking painted golf balls or whatever and have them flying around. Is it a choice, do you think, to just have one menacing, semi-sentient-ish ball?
I don't know. Like, it has to be a choice because...
Yeah.
Knowing that is one of the coolest scenes in the movie, despite the fact that it feels less cool because it is, not really part of the movie. It's a character that we've never seen before, getting hit in the face with a thing we've never seen before.
Good point, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
It's stupid. It's pointless. It's cool.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, it just didn't do it for me at all. And it's strange, again, I think the marketing hanging on these balls. It's a strange move. But
should be the other way around.
Yeah, it really should be. Swing from my nuts. The Tall Man. I'll ask you one question. Is he scary to you?
There is potential there.
Yeah.
I don't know.
6 movies worth, apparently.
Well, I think there was 5 movies, wasn't there? And then
okay.
The 6th movie is a book that fucking Reggie Bannister wrote.
Okay, fair enough.
With his agent that books him onto Comic-Cons, who is also his wife. And they met because she was an agent that like booked him into Comic-Cons.
Oh, cool.
Reggie Bannister is a cool guy.
I asked you about Tall Man.
I know.
Let me tell you about Reggie Bannister. You love this guy.
The thing about the Tall Man is that sometimes he's next to Reggie Bannister, right?
And let me tell you about Reggie Bannister.
But like, I think he's a cool guy. Too cool to have his wagon hitched to one movie franchise where, based on the fact that I've only seen this one movie, I'm going to say it only has one worthwhile movie in the franchise.
That is so presumptuous
from
a guy who routinely loves the 8th movie of a fucking series of movies more than the first one. The 8th one's way more fun.
I mean, I will watch Phantasm 2.
I know you will.
And I may watch Phantasm 3. I might even watch Phantasm 4. I'm drawing the line at 5.
No, you're not. I know you're going to watch 5.
I might. But yeah, like, I think it's just sad for him to have his wagon hitched to this. And it's similar for Angus Scrimm, really, as well. I think he is an interesting actor with a really weird look. Like, he could have been Jaws in James Bond, just as much as whoever that actor was. What's his name?
Jaws. Yeah, he could have been a much broader character actor, potentially. But
Yeah.
I don't find his acting particularly compelling. I find his visual fantastic.
Like,
he's Hammer. He's like pure Hammer horror.
yeah, when he's like lurking in the background, he is genuinely quite creepy looking. But
you know Paul Bearer from WWF?
Yeah.
When he's doing the Paul Bearer faces, I bet Paul Bearer was influenced by this fucking movie, probably.
But like, when he's like, boy, like that's nothing to me.
No, it's a good tagline. They put it on some stuff, right?
Yeah.
It became a thing. I don't find anything he says or any of his like physical menace particularly scary. I like when he picks up the coffin and chucks it in the back of the hearse. That's great. But that's not expanded on either. That, again, feels like a very Stephen King thing. The kid observes something horrifying and weird, but sort of undefinable, and something an adult won't necessarily believe or care about.
Yeah. It's the Burbs, right?
Exactly. And then has to go about the process of kind of proving it, exposing it. But there could be way more meat on those particular bones that would have been satisfying to a viewer like me. That being said, I do think he's a pretty good antagonist. He's a bit of an unknowable, incomprehensible, unpredictable.
I wish he was just like mute,
creep.
though. Like it would be much
So do
scarier.
I. I was
just
gonna ask
mute.
you that. Yeah.
Yeah. Just as an aside, I think I've just figured out why The Burbs works.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a movie about the kids figuring out that like weird stuff's happening next door, except the kids are adults.
Yeah. It's. I always thought that was basically just written for people like us, like adult kids, basically.
It's like if that movie had Corey Feldman and like Corey Haim as the main characters, it would still work.
Sure.
It would still play identically.
Yeah. Corey Feldman's in it, right?
Yeah, no, he is. But like,
Yeah.
if it was like two kids thinking that their
Main
neighbors
characters.
were creepy vampires or whatever,
Yeah.
that would still work. It would be Fright Night, but it would still be basically the exact same movie. The jokes would be the same.
Yeah.
But that's an aside.
Yeah. I think him being mute would be really cool
me
to
too.
see, because his dialogue doesn't really get us anywhere. And I think his Gribblies could have done some of his dialogue.
I don't understand the Gribbly.
Nah.
I don't understand.
I mean, they're minions. Minions don't ever really need like a backstory,
No.
do they? This movie got me horny for King, despite being completely unrelated. I bet he fucking loves this movie.
Like, he was publishing in the 70s, wasn't he? As Richard
absolutely.
Bachman. Like, so
Yeah.
I think it's very possible that Don Coscarelli had imbibed some of the same stuff. No, because that would be cocaine. He'd imbibed some of like King's output in the 70s.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I just read this,
Go on.
and I don't know if it's true because it's some of the only King stuff I haven't read. But he mentions the Phantasm spheres in the Dark Tower series.
Oh, really? Does he mention them in the Langoliers as the thing that he stole wholesale?
From...
This.
No, this is nothing like the Langoliers.
Just, the sentient floating orbs.
They're time munchers.
You are. This podcast
Gobble.
is a time muncher.
Sure is. Jesus, look at the time. Fuck my ass.
So, presumably, the movie is about death and abandonment and feeling abandoned by the people around you, right?
I think so. On a surface level, we can agree on that. Yeah.
But, like, none of it really makes any sense on that level. And, like, I
think it's more that's like our central motivation establishing theme early in the movie, just to give us an idea of who we're dealing with.
But if the tall man represents death, all they do is drop him down a well. Like,
I don't know if I mean, I'm sure that might be like a really solid critical take that's been researched that I just haven't really thought of, but I don't really see it that way. I don't think he represents death. I think he's like a minion of grief. He's like a henchman of death, in a way.
I could see it as like a minion of death or a minion of grief.
Minion of Greece.
Yeah, I could see him as a minion of death or a minion of grief. But like, he is, the Undertaker,
Yeah.
and that kind of already represents death as a person. And he's also, taking dead people, shrinking them down so they can be his slaves in the afterlife or whatever.
He's like a shepherd of death.
Yeah?
Death Shepherd. Sick folk band. For me, yeah, like I don't look at The Undertaker as death. I look at The Undertaker as Death's shepherd. Well, not even that, really. Death's fucking labourer.
Like, in, obviously, ancient folklore, there's like the river Styx and stuff. It's like, basically this guy, Charon, and he's like ushering people
rowing you over
into the afterlife, but the afterlife is just another dimension where you have to fucking work for eternity.
It's the afterlife of fucking Mars populated by Jawas in Gribble universe.
Yeah.
Like, it could be. Yeah, it could be.
That's
That's the thing, right? We're not
bleak,
dealing
isn't
with
it?
like a traditional... Yeah, but that's what's fun. There's no real reference to like a Judeo-Christian God, afterlife, death scenario here. It's totally aspiritual, which is fucking cool.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it. Maybe this movie is depicting an afterlife.
If a small child ever asks me what happens when you die, I'm like, so this
Go watch Phantasm.
this guy shrinks you down, shrinks your corpse down, brings you back to life,
puts you in a drum,
sends you to another dimension where you have to work in the heat for eternity.
Is that what they're doing? They're working.
Yeah, they're slaves.
What are they doing?
I don't know, picking slave stuff.
Isn't their work like coming back and fucking getting more boys?
Surely, like that's just they only need a couple to be like the massive guy's bodyguard. Like these guys are fucking chumps. They've got nothing.
I didn't get the impression they were like building pyramids or whatever in the other dimension.
Well, they're doing something. They're like a chain gang. When Mike goes through momentarily,
They were just walking.
I thought they were a chain gang, and they do. He does refer to them as slaves.
Yeah. I thought they were just like slaves, but I like the mystery. I enjoy the intrigue. I think part of the satisfying discombobulation of the movie is that I quite like it when it's hinted at that there's a really strong and obvious answer to all these questions.
Yeah.
You're just not really allowed it either yet or full stop. Like you're not allowed to know what that other dimension is. You're not allowed to know how and why people can cross in and out of it. It's there. Here comes a ball.
Yeah, I think like that is one of the only good bits of Sense of Place is like you sort of understand this other place immediately.
Yeah.
Just by like seeing it and it being red and like I know how much you love it when a place is just red for no reason, but like
lame. Do you know what? I even don't like it in Total Recall when it's Mars, which we know is red.
Yeah. But I think that has a good sense of place. Like you just understand it instinctively. I think as a place, it's like okay, I know that I don't want to go there. I know that going there would be unpleasant for me.
Yeah, things I don't want to be on a red planet. A slave.
Yeah.
No, thank you. I won't be going there.
Especially also like flying through the air.
Yeah. I like the dimensional crossing scene was brilliant.
So when I watched it, I assumed that was like a split screen like camera effect.
Right.
But it's not. They just use a mirror.
Oh, cool.
It's fucking great. There's just
that's awesome.
like a mirror at a certain angle.
Yeah.
That means that it's reflecting like the different part of the white room. So when they go through it, they're just walking behind a mirror.
Love that.
Love it. Perfect.
Much respect.
No notes.
I also even love the effect where he's at the, what are we going to say, fortune teller lady's house, and the box just disappears and you know things just literally vanishing. I just think it's such a wonderfully simple effect, but it's creepy and it's unnerving and it keeps you watching, keeps you off balance, keeps your eyes flying around the frame.
Yeah.
Really cool. I love the finger in the... I mean, I love the whole chopping the fingers off and seeing the yellow goo, the custard, basically. But then the finger in the box, absolutely top shelf.
Yeah, you've got to love a finger in the box.
This episode is going to be unlistenable.
It's not if you like innuendos.
It's barely innuendo at this point.
No.
I still think the music rips. I think the motif.
Yeah, we've not talked about the music in any real depth, and I think the music is amazing. It sort of sounds like John Carpenter fucking the Suspiria score by Goblin.
Yeah, with aspects of all the classics. There's bits that sound a bit tubular bells.
Tubular bells, absolutely.
It's not out of place up there with big boys like The Fog and you know all those classics. It's not overused, which is wonderful. You sort of really welcome it at the end, whereas in a lot of movies where the singular sting or motif is overused, you think, oh fucking hell, this again. Well placed throughout, great, eerie, creepy, perfect Halloween background music. Really, really top shelf stuff.
I know that this isn't as ubiquitous as like the Halloween theme and like some of those other big themes, but it absolutely could be.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I have a vivid memory of it blasting out of my auntie's house as you walked up the driveway for Halloween. Like, that was like the thing that she would do. She would blast these classic 80s, 70s, 80s tunes, and it would scare the shit out of you as you were walking up the driveway. I remember bricking it. I like turned around and had to go back, and then had to go back again when The Fog was playing, because it shit me up big time. And so this is like burned into my brain. But I really enjoy it, and I think seeing it in context as an adult really sort of cemented that it is an excellent score.
Yeah, again, like it's a much better movie than I thought it was, based on my initial experience.
For sure, and I I really think it holds together nicely. I was not bored at all, which is kind of surprising given its component parts and my taste. It doesn't necessarily seem like it's going to be a movie that grips me, but it's got a lot of the grit and the DIY feel that I love of movies of this era. Feels fringe and weirdo and outsider enough to be on the cooler side of this kind of movie, but it has a real credibility that makes it feel more mainstream. There's quality in the filmmaking. The cinematography is great. There's a lot of really good, there's a few really key good performances in it.
Yeah.
And it gels really nicely. I want to ask you, without tipping your hand too much vis-a-vis your rating, do you think this movie is fairly regarded among, the wider horror audience? Do you think people think of it too highly, too low, right about where it is?
I always thought I didn't understand why people rated it so highly.
Right.
And one of the reasons why I wanted to revisit it was because I know that people rate it really highly.
Sure.
Or a certain subset of people rate it really highly. It has a big enough vocal fan base. And I was like, I want to understand what they're seeing, or at least know that I don't feel that way.
Yep.
Turns out they were right and I was wrong.
There's no right and wrong in opinions, bud.
Well,
You did great.
Thanks. I can turn around and say, yeah, I was wrong about how I felt about that movie. And that's never going to happen with Slumber Party Massacre 2.
I think if being wrong about Phantasm is the worst thing you've done in quite some time, then I think you're doing okay, bud.
Yeah, well, it probably isn't. Depends who you ask. Why don't we take a quick break, come back, and give our scores and ratings and say goodbye?
Let's do that.
Come on, man, does that thing even work? No, there's nothing out there. It's just dead air.
Sam, you back?
I'm back. I make no apologies.
Good.
Let's sum this thing up and rate it and eat some Pringles.
Okay, I'm not going to eat any Pringles, but I was completely blown away by how much I liked this. It's not perfect. I think the acting is low budget 70s horror movie acting.
Yep.
It's almost like shit slasher acting. Obviously it's not a slasher, but it's those flavor performances. I like them. They don't feel like they should be in a film that looks this good for at least the first 45 minutes and a big chunk of the end of it as well.
Sure.
The script isn't great. Probably could have just done with another couple of goes over to figure out. Maybe they just didn't realize that they were going to make something as good as they did, and so they didn't try really hard to write it.
Sure.
There are directors, and I guess Don Coscarelli is one, that have such interesting ideas and concepts and approaches to filmmaking that they just can't help but make something visually interesting, even if it's made for £2 on a fucking flip phone.
Yeah, even if it's throwaway, it's still that person making throwaway.
Yeah, so I think maybe that's, you just can't really fault it. So you give this guy a piece of shit script and a bunch of actors that have only done community theatre or whatever, and he'll give you Phantasm back. Fair fucks, man. Absolutely fair.
Good deal.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to suck him off too hard, but I do think that there are just some incredibly beautiful moments in terms of the look of the film. The scene towards the end where the ice cream van is flipped over, and there's that insane sort of creepy blue wash over everything, and it's just obviously we know that red is bad because the bad place is red, and anytime there's a bunch of red lurking around when we see the tall man. But this blue just puts us in a whole new place in the movie that we've not been before. We know that it's ominous because no color wash in this movie is not ominous.
Yeah, it feels foggy, but there's no fog.
Yeah.
It's such a strange effect. It's chilling. Yeah.
So that was cool. There's a bunch of cool stuff that happens at the end. I really I know that the balls are incongruous, but I really like the ball vision, when we're seeing the ball's eye view.
Yeah.
That's I mean, I always love a POV of a thing, and if it's whizzing around really fast, that's cool.
Yeah.
The female characters are not very well written, and neither are the male characters. But the female characters are even worse.
It's an equal opportunity shit show. Yeah.
I think the female characters are worse somehow. I feel like if Don Coscarelli had ever met a woman at this point, I would be shocked.
He's met women, Jamie. He knows they like to get down and dirty in the graveyard.
Well, that's not
Okay,
really
that's
a woman.
all he needs to know.
That's not really a woman. That's an old, tall man.
Yeah, so I'm told.
Yeah, I think the house where they shot those scenes are really good. I think the set, like I've said before, the set is amazing. That sort of main set that we keep coming back to. Obviously, it looks incredible. Why wouldn't you keep using it?
Yeah.
But
just knowing you could just push it over.
Yeah.
It's really funny.
it's so good.
Yeah.
I like-
There's even like alabaster busts and stuff in the background and like pedestals and things that look like real pillars. Like that is quite literally just shit wood and paint. Like, wow.
Yeah.
It's good.
It's magic. That's movie
Yeah.
magic happening before our very eyes. And
It is. There is some real movie magic in this.
You could almost sort of tell that it's plywood, but not really. So I think that
Only after you told me. Yeah, for sure.
I feel like like when you know it, you can see it, and I think that
Yeah.
makes it even better because
Yeah.
I think having the trick spoiled makes me feel so much more impressed by the trick.
Yeah, and it's a different experience watching it again,
Yeah.
knowing what it is. It's a different layer and a different type of satisfaction. That's why we're movie nerds, because we like learning that stuff
Yeah.
and then looking at it again with different eyes. I think it's incredible they made that. They made a portal out of a mirror. They made a finger in a fucking puddle of custard look scary.
The finger effect is so good as well because it's obviously just a finger with like a little extra bit stuck on the end and just like wiggling
Yeah.
around through a hole in the bottom of the box, and that's it's incredible. Well done.
That's what I mean. This real music magic, real movie magic.
Yeah. And like shit that we did when we were kids, like pop your finger through the bottom of a matchbox and be like, look what I've got in here. Ooh.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Like, fuck.
Finger? Did you say finger? Okay, yeah. I suppose you could do it with your finger.
Yeah, you could.
Look what I've got in this coffin.
They didn't make matchboxes that big when I was a kid, so
They made cooking matches, didn't they? Those cigar matches.
So that said, I don't know what teenage Jamie was. Well, I do know what he was smoking, and he doesn't smoke it anymore. But yeah, great, a really good movie, a really fun experience. Uneven, but all of the bits are fun. The peaks are fun, the troughs are fun. Couple of lags, but like not too many.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it 8.2 whacks of the hammer on the shotgun shell out of 12.
Oof. That's high.
It is high. I was completely
swing.
blown away by how much I really, really enjoyed it. And
That's great.
I was ready, like I went in being like, fucking hell, yeah, this is boring. And
Yeah.
then instantly, the opening scene, dude necking in the graveyard, doing the brickbat mounting. Like,
Do you think maybe the Tool Man is boring to kids?
I-
Maybe like a real divisive villain, because I bet some kids are like, you're just an old man, I'm not scared of you. And I bet other kids are like, fucking hell, I'm scared of old men.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
I think it gets
I
put
was
in
never-
the boring category.
I was never scared of old men as a kid, like as a rule. Like
That's a rule.
there
Fuck you, old man.
there were some scary old men. We've talked about the farmer. The
Yeah.
farmer was probably fucking 32. But like,
Probably just a fucking Tory in a wax jacket.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
But he had a shotgun, Sam,
Sure. Yeah.
or the idea of one. So, and dogs,
Of course.
Yeah, he was our chopper sick balls, you know.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
But like, I didn't have a fucking South Bend shovel slayer or whatever in my
Yeah.
neighborhood. Like, there wasn't an old man that I was scared of.
Sure.
So I never really had that. So maybe it was just that. Maybe I just thought this guy is quite uncle. He also kind of looks a little bit like my uncle.
Does he?
Yeah. The one that my uncle who would pretend to turn into the Hulk if I was being naughty. And that,
Nice.
I mean, that did scare me when I was a kid. Made me stop being naughty.
In a fun way.
Made me stop being naughty.
Brilliant.
Anyway, go on. Give us your sum up and your rating, please.
I'll give you my sum up as I wrote it in my notes. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Good flick. Sick ending.
Excellent.
I echo everything you said, and I would add that it's fun. I think it's a really fun film, despite sort of being quite serious and focusing on pretty serious themes and carrying the weight of being a late 70s scary film. It doesn't take itself too seriously when it doesn't need to, and takes a lot of wild and weird swings. So I got a lot of respect for the movie, as well as really enjoying watching it. I'm going to give Phantasm 8 fingers in your box out of 13.
Wow. So a slightly lower score than mine, but not...
Only, yeah, I suppose, yeah. There is a few key things that are lacking for me in terms of rating it really, really highly. But it is a movie I would honestly consider revisiting, and I will definitely watch 2.
Yeah.
So I give it a whole bunch of fingers in the box.
Yeah, I would definitely watch 2, and then based on how 2 is, I would decide if I watch 3. I'm gonna do it like that. I'm gonna daisy chain them. I'm not gonna watch 3 just because I like 1. Do you know what I mean? I'm gonna have to see.
I don't believe you.
Well,
I know what you're like. You're watching all of them, and next time I see you, you're going to be wearing a Phantasm beanie. That's how it's going to go. If it has a series of comics, they're going to be behind you next time I talk to you, guaranteed.
Maybe.
The Phantasm graphic novel series.
If you want to see what's behind me,
fucking Reggie Bannister.
You can only see it on Patreon.
Yep. Oh, if you want to see my new cactus, you can only see it on Patreon.
Yeah. Or you might see some of this stuff on our social media at FT Horror Show, where we sometimes post videos and reels. Not about specifically what's behind us, but that's just there too.
You should follow us on those platforms. Drop a rating and a review and a comment and say hi and introduce yourselves to us, because we think you're cool.
Yeah. Do all of that stuff. Rate, review, make sure you're subscribed and have automatic downloads turned on. If you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on YouTube, then, thumb it, pop a thumb up your ass.
So those thumbs matter. Give us a thumbs up,
Yeah.
You're right there.
But yeah, do all of that stuff, and we'll see you next time for another movie, Sam.
See you there.